Welcome back to the Nutrimedical Report, and the first half hour of this first hour before our big sale starting midnight today is open lines on wellness issues. And I want to go over some of the latest news. One of my favorite sites is Green Med Info. And interestingly, the dialyzable antioxidants are very important, such as the Omega Supreme Krill, the astaxanthin, the goji berry, and our NutriComplete. And, of course, the most powerful antioxidant of all is the anhydrous catechin in NutriDefense. It is the most powerful antioxidant in the world. There's no comparison. And, of course, taking blueberries, which is dialyzable, is a good example. It increases immunity and helps lower blood pressure by protecting the intima-line wall. The interesting things that are happening, too, in terms of genetically modified foods, and I'm trying hard to get Jeffrey Smith on the program, although he's very busy doing a big blockbuster movie. Hopefully it'll come open in the theaters. It says, of course, one of the placards, Monsanto is poisoning you, and they are. And they're also feeding GMO food to animals. So even if you don't eat GMO food, you're getting it in the animals you eat. And tide is turning against globalization of genetically modified based agriculture and forced feeding, with consumers leading the charge from the bottom up, demanding informed consent, labeling, independent science, and organic alternatives. And the state of Vermont has already passed a law. The big drug companies, I call Mount Satan, leading the attack against states and people. They successfully blocked in California what appeared to be in the polls a almost certainty that they would have informed consent and labeling about a year and a half ago. That's going to return. Also, the state of Oregon is moving forward to do it. The state of Washington. Once a few more states start passing these laws, it's going to become a fait accompli that the genetically modified foods are going to be finished. And they need to be finished because they're putting in promoter genes that jump into your gut bacteria. They're putting in genetic material that causes hyperallergenicity to people, that cause autoimmune diseases and other problems. They can contain unstable plasmids of different genetic material that can get into your own genome and start going inside your cells and your nucleoplasm and activating all kinds of illnesses. So genetically modified foods are going to be finished, and we need to do that. Whatever technology we're using for genetic modification is not advanced enough science to make stable genomes of plants that are new hybrids or new types of organisms. And the idea of translating and bringing in genes from different phyla and species into the food we eat in unstable plasmids or unstable chromosome combinations is amazing. Now, I've been doing a lot of research on cancer, and I have a lot of requests almost daily for people to do alternative care. The very first thing you want to do with cancer is you want to immediately be on our NutriMeds program, which is a malignant block, at least 2 capsules 3 times a day, ellagic acid 2 capsules 3 times a day. These will prepare the DNA to return to normal or make the cell go through apoptosis. High-dose Power C, we're talking about 60-gram equivalents a day, each capsule equal to 1.5 grams of Power C. And for every 3 Power C, 1 minoquinone 7 or vitamin K2. This stimulates apoptosis and also makes the cells alkaline. It makes it very difficult for cancer cells to stay in that cancer state. Remember, cancer is not a mutation. Cancer is an adaptation. Adaptation to a cell under stress, which is why it activates the telomerase. It's why cancer cells behave the way they do. They get away with it. And what my research has found is there's 3 major clinics that I've seen so far in Tijuana, which is probably the best place near America that has these advanced treatments, including dendritic cell therapy. And what they do is they basically take the RNA of the cancer, they amplify it, create a way of immunizing and amplifying your natural T killer cells, and give those amplified cells back to you. They're able to do this with the special immune technologies. They also have a thing called a Coley's vaccine to amplify your natural killer cell activity, and lateral intravenously, etc. Hypothermia therapy. There's a whole range of therapies that are available across the border in Mexico, and also there are things called gene-based cancer therapies. Now, at the Houston Clinic for Brzezinski Clinic in Houston, they concentrate primarily on just anti-neoplastons and the cancer-based gene-based therapy, which are off-label use of other drugs that aren't even considered chemo to turn off abnormal genes that have been turned on to cause cancer. And you need a biopsy done of the tumor, or you do what's called flow cytometry to separate the cancer cells in the blood. Their first research started many years ago in Germany, back probably 40 years ago. Dr. Brzezinski has been working here for about 35 years in Houston. Been very successful. Certain cancers, again, not 100% cure by any means, but some cancers have a higher rate. It's quite expensive. It's much less expensive to do those gene-based cancer therapies at another clinic, which is part of the ISELS network in Santa Barbara, California. That's ISSELS, and there also is BioCare and the Oasis of Hope in Tijuana. So those three clinics, ISELS, BioCare, and Oasis of Hope. And I will be putting up an article and information on the wellness conditions. I'll be expanding it considerably in my book, Dr. You, which is coming out by the 4th of July holiday. So that's coming along very nicely, and I think it'll be an extremely good help. We are deciding not to put it as an ebook. It will be a printed book, probably with ring binding, so it'll contain a lot of information. There'll be an update each year for the Dr. You book. So it'll be a 2015 edition, and then it'll be a 2016 edition coming out probably around the summer of next year. So that's what's happening on that front. In terms of major news items, of course, the latest is, of course, the information that's coming out about Osama bin Laden, who in fact was dead from renal failure long before they supposedly killed him by SEAL Team 6, which they also killed off. More lies by the Obama administration. We have the drought basically is over. We're having a lot of cloudy and rainy weather, at least now a couple of days a week. I know a lot of people are panicking out here. I think really there's natural cycles. We're in a La Nina year, and we're having unusual water patterns just in the last month and a half that are completely changing things. So as far as California goes, the drought is I consider over. It's just going to take a lot of this consistent weather for a period of time. And it's because we're moving into a Maunder-type mini cooling period or ice age every 180 years. These natural cycles can even supersede their attempt to change the weather patterns of the world through geoengineering, which is also what's happening. I hope people had lots of interesting times with John B. Wells. He'll be back in the next few weeks. We have other great guests coming up. We'll be having Clint Richardson, the Corporation Nation. He'll be coming on next week as well. Jonathan Gray will be back next week. And, of course, tonight at midnight, the sale comes on for the 7 for Heaven sale, which means 7% off of all of our products, including things that are even on sale. So you get 7% on top of previous sales. Free shipping on all of our Nutrimeds. Complete free shipping, even down to one bottle. Can't beat it. Of course, the range of technologies we have now is expanding. We are having fantastic results with people that get a QRMA machine, send me their wellness history. I will do, for each QRMA machine, 6 consults free. After that 6, I will charge a consult fee for anybody requesting a review of their QRMA and history. So 6, that's for you or your family. And by the way, if you do get a QRMA machine, you can do QRMAs for friends and relatives and other people, but they will all have to send in their compressed file and their history, and I will charge a consult fee to review that and produce a not only a list of nutraceuticals and Nutrimeds, but also recommended medical treatment, surgical treatment, referral clinics, and other things that take some time and research. So, again, the limit is 6 consults per QRMA machine, and after the 6th, there will be a reasonable fee charge to do the analysis and produce a report. And it's much more extensive than saying, here's a list of supplements to take. I will review your history, and I'll be doing a much more extensive history form I'll be posting up that will tell you when it's appropriate to do surgery, advanced clinics in different parts of the world, such as Mexico, Europe, or South America, and give you kind of more information to how to approach your problem. And the key thing here is that you'll become an expert in your health condition while you're learning how to do nutraceutical and metabolic support, what types of surgery are and are not appropriate. And a good example would be some that say they've been told to have a knee replacement. I had a gentleman a few months ago, he was told by his doctor repeatedly he needed a knee replacement, and he had not had yet done a MRI arthrogram of his knee. The arthrogram came back and showed he only had retropatellar tracking problems and some degeneration. His knee joint was absolutely normal. So all he needed to do was have surgery to replace the tracking of his kneecap, clean out the debris there, defibrillate, and remove and flush out the debris of the knee. Put in a hydroviscous layer of Highland, 3 million molecular weight, and take our supplements to rebuild his knee capsule and hydroviscous layer, and he's fine. No knee replacement necessary. And welcome back to the Nutrimedical Report. Lots of interesting news. The city of Palmyra in Syria has fallen now to ISIS. And, of course, the inaction by the closet Muslim in the White House called Obama, the abomination that is desolating the Middle East. And, in fact, he'll soon desolate by trying to create a partitioning of the state of Israel and the setting up of a sacrifice in the temple, and you know who I'm talking about then. We also have some really bizarre things going on in America in terms of marriage. One of the articles in the New York Times is what's called the, and this is called the gay apocalypse is here. Pennsylvania allows the marriage of father to son. Now, I really think that, the things are getting really ridiculous. We have also a situation where is the court going to restrain multiple people from marrying, so you have marriages of 5 or 10 people to each other, or humans to animals? I mean, I really don't see any restraint whatsoever by the courts. It's bizarre. And, gosh, how far is this going to go? It's not really marriage. This is just some kind of union to destroy the idea of what marriage is in the first place. So that's what's happening. And, of course, Boko Haram is spreading across Africa. Obama's doing nothing about it significantly at all. We have some of the latest health issues as well. They have a thing, it said, 4-legged seizure sniffers provide protection and comfort for their owners. They've discovered that basic dogs have been able to be companion for thousands of years, but first domesticated in a hunter-gatherer ancestors 18,000 years ago, part of the culture. And what they're talking about in the Science Times is that dogs can even tell seizures. Now, what's going on is a seizure in the Senate, where Rand Paul is dominating the Senate floor for more than 10 hours against a mass of pressure to try to reauthorize the so-called Patriot Act. It's amazing they use these euphemistic terms. It is to destroy and to jail and to execute patriots that this Patriot Act still exists. There's no basis on reality that there's a need for Patriot Act. There's a need for better policy in terms of our borders, for ISIS and for Islam worldwide, which is a danger. And there's no such thing as mild or moderate Islam and extreme, because mild Islam tolerates extreme Islam. And people need to understand that. That's why when people say, well, you have to have tolerance, no, you don't have to. You don't have to have tolerance for something that's not a religion. It's 86%, according to Walid Shubat, who used to be a Palestinian terrorist. He's been on the program with his son, Theodore Shubat, at Shubat, SHOEBAT.com. You can check out his books and materials. 86% of it is a geopolitical monstrosity that takes over whichever city or country or town it moves into. And it's got a long history for over 1,000 years of doing this. So if you think Islam is tolerable, see what it's doing to Europe, ripping the guts out of it. And with what's happening in Europe in terms of the economy, with the advance of Turkey to continue to infiltrate Muslims from the Turkic empires, former Ottoman Empire, former Russian satellite nations, etc., into Europe because of Turkey and its working conditions in Europe. Europe is falling, and they basically have religion only to maintain the historical buildings. The religious system is dissected away from the public life. People of faith basically are not active in any way, shape, or form in Europe and in Great Britain. It's a disgusting mess, and the church is being more and more marginalized. Young people know the difference, that if you are not made in the image of the Most High God, you're not a sovereign, you therefore have no rights because you're just an advanced animal. And when I was listening to Fox News the other night, they even made crazy statements that it's, quote, unacceptable to call yourself a dog owner, you have to be a dog guardian. This is the kind of foolishness that's happening, where they're trying to change the lingo so that they can marginalize the very nature of what it is to be a human. And of course, this is preceding the idea of horizontally inserting non-human genes into humans and starting to blur the line of what it is to truly be a human, and even passing human rights laws, which they're now trying to do for chimpanzees and other primates, to make them on the same playing field as human beings, is very dangerous. So when people think this is not the end times, well, you need to wake up and smell a coffee. It is. A lot of new research on stem cells infused in brain to promote stroke recovery, study finds, and they're finding new information that helps. There's a company called Nutrimedical in San Diego that has treatment. And Gordie Howe is still at the center of a controversy. There's controversy on both sides of relatives claiming he made a big recovery or not after the Nutrimedical treatment. I believe that the stem cell lines are very helpful. The research I've seen so far tells me, though, its primary action isn't that it makes sure the stem cells from the donor interdigitate with your tissues. It stimulates turning off inflammation and stimulates the growth factors to activate the individual's own stem cells. but nevertheless, they're extremely helpful. And we know, for example, a lot of dementia and other things are inflammatory conditions, congestive heart failure. So they may also help reversible damage to the heart. There's really good research on that publishing now. And again, the chief line is not the line that I've seen from taking stem cells from your fat tissue. There's an inadequate number, but the Nutrimedical cells they're treated at the Santa Clarita Clinic in Tijuana, and the other clinic is in Astana, Kazakhstan, from Nutrimedical. So all you have to do basically is contact me, and I will get you information as to how to contact the Santa Clarita Clinic. As I mentioned, our treatment is oxygen or mild hyperbaric oxygen. I have a really good testimonial this morning of a gentleman whose wife outside the country received our Nutrimed treatment, and all she said so far is our Nutrimeds, and she had terminal congestive heart failure, which has a same 5-year survival as advanced stage 4 cancer. She is getting better, which is a miracle, and that's before she gets mild hyperbaric oxygen or stem cell therapy, or even thoracic microdose and micropulse, that is, and the use of lumen photons. So as we add these other technologies, it's going to get considerably better, adding mild hyperbaric oxygen, transthoracic, micropulse, and lumen photon therapy, and then eventually going to the Santa Clarita Clinic for a stem cell transplant to really turn off the inflammatory markers and stimulate her own stem cells to regenerate her heart muscle. So our Nutrimed program by itself will reverse and stop congestive heart failure, which is a terminal condition. Same survival rate as stage 4 advanced metastatic cancer. That's pretty remarkable. And there's many hundreds of conditions that we can help. They're diagnosing a lot of people with multiple viral conditions, chronic fatigue syndrome, etc., fibromyalgia, and regularly, on a regular and consistent basis, just with the Nutrimeds alone, we can reverse that. So people do not need to suffer. There's no need for that whatsoever. And let's see, we also have some interesting things on influenza. Of course, the influenza, the H3N2 canine influenza is continuing to spread. We have the new avian flu spreading among the turkeys and chickens. Iowa is the primary egg-laying state in the United States, and millions of chickens have had to be culled. Almost 20 million turkeys in the state of Minnesota, the turkey capital of the United States, because of the spread of these new viruses. And in Kansas, H5N1, H7N9 vaccines they're working on. Of course, vaccines I do not recommend because of toxic adjuvants. And welcome back to the Nutrimedical Report. And one of my favorite people is Tom Strader from MG12. Nutrimeds heals from the inside, and MG12 heals from the outside. Tom, tell us all about your MG12 line of products, and from head to toe, from shampoos to soaps to to underarm deodorant. You've got the cosmetics, you've got the MG12 oil, the Magna Sport, the Magna soap. Tell us about the different line, because I use them all, and I tell you, they're amazing. They really are extremely helpful, because as you remineralize your body, you can detox your body, you can heal. Without minerals, nothing happens.
Well, everything starts from the sea. It comes from the Dead Sea in Israel, and there's an anointing on the Dead Sea. As you and I both know, there's an anointing on Israel. But the Dead Sea products that we have all come from the Dead Sea, the minerals from there. We start with the minerals, and then we take and through a proprietary process and make our magnesium oil and our magnesium oil products that go along with it. As you said earlier, we have the shampoo, the soap, deodorant, the healing body balm, the Magna Sport, which is our magnesium oil that's infused with arnica, and also essential oils. These products, Dr. Bill, have changed hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of lives in the last couple of months that we've had this business. But prior to that, Dave and Drew Banks, who had the company for 7 years, just testimony after testimony after testimony, and that's how I got interested in this company. Was I had the issues with my back, with my heart, with twitching muscles. I'd even had a heart attack, and when I found out about the power of magnesium, it changed my life when I started using them. I did not have to have the back surgery, and I've had no more heart palpitations, had no more gout in my right toe, haven't had any more problems with muscle spasms and cramps and twitching, had restless legs. I don't have that any longer. Dr. Bell is just amazing at what magnesium can do for your overall health. And it's not a secret. It's there, but, the Bible says my people perish for lack of knowledge. And it's also not only spiritually, but it's also physically. And the physical portion of it for our bodies with magnesium, it's the master mineral. It's the mineral that's the most vital mineral for our body to function. Without it, our body cannot live. And I've learned so much from you, Dr. Bill, on the value of magnesium, and I know that you have been a great believer in it for a number of years. Even I think you were in residency when you started the magnesium.
I did research on magnesium for cardiac resuscitation in the emergency department intensive care unit, and I sent my research back in 1977 to Dr. Eisenberg in Seattle, Washington, at the University of Washington, Seattle, and it went along to the American College of Cardiology. So my research, along with several others, was the primary reason why magnesium is in the advanced cardiac life support protocol worldwide, and that, basically being curious and then looking up research done at Texas A&M on heart ligation studies and looking at cardiac depletion of magnesium, proved to me that basically that the current state of the art at that time, and unfortunately it's still not in the practice. Now, some doctors are also measuring serum magnesium, and that's a faint shadow of your total body level or your organ. So people need to be aware of that it's a faint shadow of the levels of magnesium in each organ. And the QRMA is the best test for measuring that. The others are packed red cell levels down at directlabs.com to Genova Metametrics Lab. They can send a test kit with a blood draw to go to a LabCorp request. Magnesium is they should really label Earth as the blue-green planet. Green because of magnesium, blue because of the oceans. And the blue-green planet would be a better term for it, because the green is due to magnesium. It's the actual harmonic frequency of magnesium in the chlorophyll. Without magnesium, chlorophyll couldn't turn sunlight into energy, into food for all the plants on Earth, which of course become the food for animals. Without magnesium in your cells, you couldn't restrain calcium after it comes in and does its work. So for every one calcium ion lines through very special ion channels, which you repair with gamma E+, you have 10,000 magnesium ions. And that magnesium also is the guardian of the cell. It also guards the other minerals like cobalt, manganese, molybdenum, etc., which are trace elements. And each one stimulates a frequency to turn on and the epigenetics to actually activate and uncover the histone proteins to express genes. For every body protein and process requires a particular mineral. Without that mineral present, you can never reach what's called the Kmax of that enzyme expression of those genes. So in other words, without the proper minerals, you can't express your own genetic potential. It's not possible. And that's why I recommend internally Nutrimeds, externally MG12, and also take Indiamines to amplify the maximum nucleoplasm levels of your minerals. Pretty important, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And Dr. Bill, don't forget the benefits for the external, for the skin. Plaque psoriasis, eczema, rosacea, acne, people with very dry scalps that are losing hair. That we are seeing just a miraculous turnaround with the shampoo and the soaps and the magnesium oil, because what it does is the magnesium oil is a healing agent for the skin. And I think you can share with people how important it is.
Yeah, if you are using magnesium, we if you have skin lesions, put a Nutriodine on the lesion, it'll heal quicker, and Silver 100. And magnesium baths, the magnesium oil. And the neat thing about your oil, compared to any other company that makes it, is number one, it's coming from the Dead Sea, which means it's going to be toxin-free. Number two, it has 14 trace minerals that are not present in regular, even seawater, but are present in the living cells of all living organisms. Those minerals, by the way, aren't even in our soils anymore, so our soils are depleted of even macro minerals like selenium, chromium, manganese, etc., and magnesium. So if you're trying to remineralize your body, you have to take our internal Nutrimed formulas, which are Trax amino acid chelates that are far superior to the regular gastrointestinal formulas out there that are mined from, with other chelating agents. And topically, you want MG12. I mean, if you do that, And you've had, for example, we do this with our people that have congestive heart failure, cardiac spasms, hypertension, stroke, seizure disorders, ADD, ADHD, anxiety attacks. Let's put it, any condition you can imagine is benefited by remineralizing your body. There is no such thing as a condition that's not improved by normalizing your mineral content. And you can't even, as I say, achieve your enzyme max, Kmax, genetic expression without the minerals being present. So it's like step one of anti-aging or healing any illness is to normalize your intracellular mineral content and turn on the genes to actually make your cells heal. Just step one. I mean, I don't understand this. And them doctors just measure serum levels of just a couple, like your potassium. Rarely will they measure even magnesium. But they're never measuring any other trace elements. And they're only measuring, if they do anything, serum, let alone packed red cells or looking at organs. It's a major defect of medicine. They miss the biochemistry of life completely, and that's why I'm able to treat and reverse hundreds of health conditions that the conventional doctors, even with multiple drugs, can't. And
well, Dr. Bill, the other issue, too, is, as I had shared with the people before, is the heart. My heart seized up when I was 40 and cramped and spasmed, and it was the result of too much calcium in my system and not enough magnesium. My doctor told me, he said, your heart is the major muscle of your body, which we all know that, but I was having a lot of spasms and cramps. I did a lot of running. I was very involved in athletics, and I did not realize how many minerals my body was being depleted of, especially magnesium.
Yeah,
and that
exercise will do that.
Behind that heart attack. Mm-hmm.
That's why we have our new sports energy light drink that'll protect your mitochondria and give you oral electrolytes, but topically, after you do your run or your exercise, you should be hopping in a bath or spraying your body with the Magnasport or the magnesium oil so that you remineralize from the outside in, too. There's just no way of getting around it. Without the minerals, you do not have enzyme activity in your cells. With no enzymes, you don't have the structural proteins or the metabolic enzymes to produce any intermediates to rebuild your cells and your function and structure. Ain't going to happen. That's basics. And doctors out there, naturopaths, and other people need to get the facts that without this, you cannot heal, no matter what herb or drug you give someone. And welcome back to the Nutrimedical Report. We're tracking down Chris Jackson from VibraSlim. The Euro plate is $1,299. It's amazing, $400 decrease in price and free shipping and 3-year warranty on all parts and modules, which are sent to you at no cost if there's any breakdown. Motor is warranted for the entire life of the machine. These are machines that are so powerful in terms of vibrational exercise. I call them vitamin G for gravity. They're going to change your set point to a lower body weight. They're going to increase microcirculation and lymphatic pumping to move your lymphatic vessels throughout your body. They're going to give you a cardiac training without the cardiac workout that puts you in danger, raising your ability of your peripheral blood vessels to pump the blood around your body. They will increase bone density and connective tissue strength. They improve proprioception or position sense to protect you from falls if you're elderly and from movement disorders that are going to tear ligaments, etc., because of better muscle control. So VibraSlim is the core of all exercise programs. I recommend now that what people do with VibraSlim, I call it the VibraFit program, where you get the body elastic bands. That's body elastic bands. You can get them at Amazon for under $50. I like the use of a bar, an athletic bar, like a gymnastic bar above and behind your thing. If you want to do this properly, you can attach the bands to the platform itself or to the bar above and behind you. You can also use free weights like the Bowflex adjustable free weights. They'll adjust up to 50 pounds in each hand, so you can do free weights on the vibrational platform, resistance band exercises with the VibraSlim as well. And 10 minutes, I recommend at least 10 minutes twice a day or 20 minutes in one session. It has a dramatic effect on reducing insulin resistance, lowering blood pressure, giving a cardiac workout, improving all these different factors, and the amount of fat loss compared to even an hour of aerobic activity is far more. It's far superior to the CrossFit, which does not concentrate on proprioception and can give you injuries. It does much better than just walking on a treadmill. As I say, if you do any other kind of exercise, whether it's running, cycling, golf, you must include vibrational proprioceptive and muscle recruitment type exercise, which will have a dramatic effect on metabolism. It releases growth hormone from your brain. It lowers insulin and leptin resistance. It does an amazing array of things that basically normal exercise doesn't. So our specials are on right now, $1,299. You will get a machine that otherwise, to get a comparable technology like the Power Plate, you'd spend $5,000 to $7,000 minimum. If you get a sonic vibrational machine, you can spend up to $20,000. This machine at $1,299 is an amazing, amazing deal. Plus free shipping in the United States, and they ship everywhere on the planet. So if you're in Ireland, South America, anywhere, you can get a Vibra Slim shipped to you from our head offices here in the West Coast of the United States. We have warehouses around the world as well. So we can take care of you. And the Europlate is so well made now that the much more expensive machines are actually removed from the list there. So if you go to the link, you'll see the Europlate. If you go to our hyperlink directly for a Vibra Slim off the affiliates on our front page of Nutrimedical, you'll see those there. That special is not just for the weekend. That's a continuing special that's going to be present there from now to whenever. So you can't beat that price. So if you're planning on getting well, I just spoke to a gentleman this morning who's decided, what am I get first, a Vibra Slim or a mild hyperbaric chamber for his wife with congestive heart failure? So get the Vibra Slim first, get her exercising, getting her blood moving around, and then get a mild hyperbaric chamber from our expert from Hyperbaric Dives. Their link is down right now, but you can contact Bruce McKeeman at 612-325-8243. And if you're trying to contact our expert over at VibraSlim, just go directly to the hyperlink, and they will take care of you from that hyperlink directly at the Nutrimedical. If you don't have a computer, or if you just have phone, contact us and we can place the order for you, and we can take care of your VibraSlim shipment. So that gives you more information there. Interesting new research. They're saying that skipping meals, they did an interesting study with animals, and they found skipping meals actually increases the risk of pre-diabetic insulin resistance. So in other words, it's not good to fast all day and have one big meal. It's better to have small meals through the day. In fact, if you could split your total calorie intake into 6 tiny, tiny meals, it's better than one big monster meal. That one large meal will actually increase levels of insulin. Insulin increases the levels of abnormal amino acids coming out of the liver after the rise of blood sugar. It stimulates also glucagon that makes your liver and kidneys not only make sugar, but reabsorb the sugar that's in your bloodstream through your kidneys. And so that elevated blood insulin and blood glucagon drive your body to actually make sugar even from proteins. Whereas if you spread the meals out and don't eat after 7 p.m. at night, if you have things like our Carbo Block, and I'm going to like to change the name to Lactose Eliminator. Lactose Eliminator will eliminate lactose because it's glucose and galactose, because that will also raise your blood insulin. Leptin Metabolic reverses leptin and insulin resistance, along with Biotin Plus, and most importantly, diabetoline. And if you're trying to flush fat from fat tissues, the use of our Lipo Flush is very, very effective, along with taking our CoQ10 and VascuCare, because you're trying to raise metabolism. I have a new formula for a topical that you can make yourself, a topical formula for cellulite. And just using the components that you can purchase here at Nutrimedical, you can actually put together your own custom-made home cellulite cream that's more powerful than one that would cost $300 or $400 from a large cosmetic company. Much, much more powerful, much more advanced science in it. And I spoke to a bariatrician, obesity expert at UCLA just last week, and I'll be sending him a copy of my formula. Very excited about it because it fits in all the research that fat tissue's metabolism is shut down. That's why if you do a thermogram, you'll see if people have fatty deposits around their skin and body, the temperature of that tissue is extremely low because the metabolism is literally shut off. So when people are trying to lose weight, they're losing weight against a resistance where the tissue is literally in suspended animation. So obese tissue is not normal metabolizing tissue. It's literally turned off. And it's turned off so it maintains a deposit. It's like a term deposit in a bank account. Your body can't withdraw it for so many days because it's set up in a term deposit, so the core metabolic activity of that tissue is shut off. So when we use our topical formula, which includes natriodine, VascuCare, propionyl carnitine, CoQ10, mitocarnitine, mitochondrial catalyst, leptin metabolic, amino acids are our new mega muscles. And the mega muscles formula, by the way, will be posted up. It should be available before the big sale. I'm hoping to have at least the basic information, because we'll be shipping. The mega muscles is either here or going to be here in a day or two. So we will be shipping the Mega Muscles formula amino acids as well. A lot of new amazing things happening. Probably before the July holiday, we have a new product that carries all of the immune memory to fight all the major pathogens for humans, 26 different pathogens in a capsule form, and it works wonderfully with our Nutrimune, which is the immunoglobulin and transfer factors, and NutriDefense. So if you're trying to build up your immune system, NutriDefense, Nutrimune, and now our new product, which will be coming up before the 4th of July. That's what's on the way. So VibraSlim is one of my favorite things. In fact, right after I finish my show today, I'm going to try to get on there for at least 10 minutes. It's important to get at least 10 minutes of vibrational exercise. In fact, I tell people if they're working in cubicles in a building, one of the worst things they can do is stay sitting longer than a half an hour before they get up, stretch, and ideally they should have near their water cooler or VibraSlim machine so they can get up and exercise and vibrate away their cares, stretch their muscles, and pump their lymphatics, because sitting is a very dangerous thing for a long period of time. It's very unhealthy, and vibrational exercise is a cure. Vitamin G, I call it, for gravity. When we look at some of the latest news, we're going to be talking with Tim Alexander. I pulled up the latest information also from some of the more important websites, such as Drudge, and we have executive amnesty for child molesters. I mean, this is quite ridiculous. I think that what's happening, and we have basically Jeb takes a stand against Rand Paul. Jeb Bush is a joke. He's an evil joke. And Rand Paul is the only one standing up in the Senate to stop the reauthorization of the Patriot Act. He's the only one standing up as a real, true pro-life, and he's also the only one standing up to set up a foreign policy where America takes a strong stance against ISIS, but doesn't get itself pulled into stupid wars. China also warning the U.S. in a spy plane. Of course, he recently just arrested a industrial espionage, a foreign agent of China, Wang Yi, and China, of course, being very angry about that. But they do several $100 billion of industrial espionage every year. That's because they can't invent things in China because they have a totalitarian regime. China's on the march, and people need to understand that we want a good China, not a bad one. Hopefully we can start negotiating properly, but with Obama in the White House, that's not going to happen. He needs to be impeached immediately, as we said with Harley Schlanger yesterday. 800-922-2907 is their number at LaRouche Foundation.